Ryan Garcia card that was announced, as I said, a ton of rumors. Pitbull Cruz. He was even out here in LA, Chris, at the Commerce Casino fights. Right Hook Roxy fought out there. I gotta say, a lot of stars out there, man. Teofimo Lopez was out there. I saw El Divino Espinosa. I saw Carlos Valderas was out there too. Of course, our boy Alan Garcia was out there. Ashton Silva was out there. Yeah, Ryan was out there, and he seemed to confirm that he was gonna fight Pitbull, right? And then the announcement came after that he was actually gonna fight, what's his name, Rolly Romero. Rolly disappeared, Chris. Like, whatever happened to Rolly? Like, we haven't heard from him, and now he's getting this fight. So I was pretty. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised by this.
Yeah, no, like you said, everything indicated that Pitbull was going to fight. And I read an article online that Pitbull decided to pull out of this mega fight because he felt it was bad luck. You know, he referenced the Jaime Munguia with Bruno Sarasa fight, where he has fights already lined up, and you're kind of overlooking it. So Pitbull did reference that. He's like let me focus on this guy Fierro. Let me be respectful. He's on the undercard of Benavides Morel. So he's trying to just lock in and focus in. Um, I gotta ask you, Gio. We've seen fights where, you kind of skip that big payday, that big name, and you try to, take an interim fight. Do you think this is a fight that can come back and bite? Would you have still signed up for Ryan and say, let me just secure that big bag, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Big Bro saying that Cruz ducking. Let me see what the comment here. Just like he wanted to no smoke with Shakur a couple years back. Uh, you know, I can see the logic behind that. You know, uh, as I said, guys like Madrimov, he just pulled out of the Suri Bulchuk fight, an injury. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. I think who's he fighting? Fierro. I think Angel Fierro. He's on the undercard of Benavides. If I'm not mistaken. Obviously a fight with Ryan Garcia. With that comes the money, the fame. If you win, you're in the mix. I'm not too familiar with Fierro, so obviously if I had to choose, if I was in his shoes, I'm trying to fight Ryan. Especially because Pitbull has been calling a lot of names out here, and Ryan was one of them. And if the opportunity presented itself, I feel like he should have taken it. I think for Ryan Garcia, I think it's a better fight against Rolly Romero. I think I don't know if the timing is correct, simply because Rolly's coming off a loss, right, to Pitbull. Has he fought since? I don't think he has.
Yeah.
He has no momentum. Ryan Garcia doesn't really have any momentum. We haven't at the time of the fight. It's probably going to be like 13 months since his last fight, and that was a great victory against obviously Devin Haney. But yeah, the timing is a little odd. But for Garcia, I think it is an easier fight. He mentioned that Pitbull was going to be a tougher fight than Devin Haney. And I think he gets an even easier fight for him. So I think it's a win-win scenario for Ryan. And I'm not sure that Pitbull wins with this scenario.
Yeah, obviously it just depends on what Pitbull does in this next fight. Obviously, if he loses to Fierro in an upset, we're gonna be like, man, should have taken that fight with Ryan. If he wins, we're gonna say like, okay, he locked in, he focused in. His stock rises up a little bit. He gets back on winning ways since losing to Rayo Valenzuela. But yeah, man, you know me, Joe. I've always felt that Pitbull, Ryan Garcia. I know you don't like my comparisons, but that's a Goku versus Vegeta kind of fight. That's a style that intrigues me. That intrigues a lot of the boxing fans. Tall fighter versus short fighter, but the short fighter has that come forward, aggressive Mexican style. It's going to be a clash of strategies. So that's one that most people would have salivated over. But yeah, like you said, Rolando Romero, I just checked ourselves. He did win against an unknown opponent after his loss to Isaac Cruz. So he's got a little bit of momentum, but like you said, not a whole lot. Not that Rolando Romero that was just on social media, that was entertaining. He's still gonna put on the show. Let me just clarify. But it's that, like you said, where did Rolly go? We used to seeing him loud, and just being an entertainer. So again, it's I wish we could have marinated this fight a little bit more, but it is what it is. I'm sure once we get those press conferences, we're gonna get some De La Hoya, Mayorga type of press conferences. I can't wait to see what they bring. But yeah, man. Again, it's I feel like 2025. These lightweight, these junior welterweights, we're gonna get these guys in the ring.
Yeah, and Manuel Jaimes was the opponent for Romero last time out. I believe that was on the Canelo undercard. Now that you think about it, September 14, Jaimes was 16-2, relatively unknown. Not a memorable fight for Rolly. So, now he gets the guy who, they've been quote unquote beefing for the past, I don't know how many years. For you guys who are longtime supporters of the show, you guys remember we had Rolly on our show when he had 3-4 professional fights. And that's at the time where that sparring video came out, him against Ryan, and there's a lot of trash talk back and forth. It seemed like the beef was real. And then over the years, they seem to be more and more friendly with each other. So we'll see what we get for the buildup. But yeah, I'm not mad at that. I thought it was super interesting that Devin Haney is going to be now on Ryan's undercard. Like, I don't think they are. Um, I don't think they're expressing it like that. I don't think they're writing it like that. Look what it says on the headline. It says, is it this one? No, I think it's this one here. Let me switch it. This headline says Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney to share card before planned rematch. So they don't want to say it, but Devin Haney is on. He's on Ryan Garcia's undercard, Chris.
Yeah, I think he's riding his Australia Cambosos kind of wave. I think he realized that Ryan is a ticket seller. Ryan does bring eyes. Ryan was really his. It should have been a gimme fight for Devin Haney. He should have won that fight, to a decision. And most people's eyes, we saw that he dropped the ball. So I think he knows that he's got to take a step back. He's not in the boxing fans' favor. We Even though he may say that, what, as long as they're talking about me, that's a good thing. Yeah, sure. But he's well aware that the boxing fan is we're not on his side right now. As boxing fans, we are not Team Haney right now. We're just everything he's done is not admirable from what a boxer or fighter should be. So I think he knows, like, he's got to take a step back. He's got to just bounce back, stay close to Ryan, and see if he can get that fight. Gio, I still don't. I'm still not convinced. From that first fight, that Devin Haney can do anything different. I honestly thought his boxing skill was much higher, and I thought that his defensive prowess was going to be, a difference maker, and it wasn't. So I don't know, man. I don't know if he should be having Ryan on his mind right now. I mean, he's going to have to fight him to try to avenge those ghosts, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and look, Jose Ramirez is a favorable fight. Let's keep it real. I've never been a big fan of Jose Ramirez. I think he's one dimensional. He's going to come forward. He's going to get hit. He's going to block punches with his face. I think that should be an easy, unanimous decision for Devin Haney, especially with Jose Ramirez coming off a loss against Arnold Barboza, pretty much outboxed that fight. So I think we're seeing the end of Ramirez little by little. I don't think he poses a much of a threat for Haney. But Jose Ramirez, he can punch, and he is a big guy. He's 5'11", 6 feet tall. He's a solid guy. And we saw how much trouble Haney had against, a guy basically his size or a little bigger in Ryan Garcia. We had never really seen Haney against an opponent like that. Against Lomachenko, he had a big size advantage. I still think he lost that fight, but he was able to have some success, using that size to his advantage. Fighting smaller guys like Linares, he got hurt in that one, but Gamboa too. We've been accustomed to watching him, be a weight bully. He couldn't do it against Ryan. Let's see what he does against Ramirez. But I agree. I don't think anything changes in the second fight if it happens. I think if anything against Ryan, I think he might get stopped. Styles make fights, and it seems like Ryan knows him well. He knows him well from the amateurs, and it seems like he got to know him really well. Also, in that professional ring, he had a ton of success, and it was an easy fight for Ryan that night. So yeah, things are going to get interesting if both of them win. They're supposed to fight in October. Um, let's hope. Let's hope they win. I think that's the best for boxing. I think the rematch will be huge. Turkey's going to be splashing that cash, and yeah, interesting announcement by Ring Magazine.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, Gio. I don't think Ramirez has too much left to challenge a guy like Devin Haney. Devin Haney should get a decision in this fight. Unless he can't exercise those ghosts from that Ryan Garcia fight. We do know that Jose Ramirez is a one-dimensional come forward fighter, aggressive, all offense, not a whole lot of defense. If Devin Haney, again, loses focus for a split second, you mentioned it, has a Linares moment, then Ramirez could capitalize. But I'm telling you right now, Gio, if Devin Haney cannot get past a guy like Ramirez, don't even call out Ryan. Honestly, again, Ramirez is a good fighter. He was a champion at one time, but he's out of his prime now. So it's not going to be an easy fight. We saw it wasn't an easy fight for Arnold Barboza, but you can see who's in their moment, and the Barbosas, the Devin Haney's, they're in their moment. So if Devin Haney cannot get past a Jose Ramirez because of those ghosts that last fight left, then I don't see us entertaining a rematch. But we'll see what happens. Again, it should be a doable fight for Devin Haney, staying close to Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Bakolia Jokba, another good fight. We wanted to see Bakoli in a big fight after that Anderson win. I think Ajagba is a perfect opponent for him. Ajagba still a very dangerous guy. 20-1, 14 KOs. Bakoli 21-1, 16 KOs. So, this is I think for Ajagba. He lost to Frank Sanchez, I believe.
Mhm.
I think it's a must win for him if he wants to really insert his name and get a big fight, because we talked about those guys at heavyweight who are probably closer to retirement than anything. The Zile Zongs of the world, even Joseph Parker, he's been around for a long time. Let's see what happens in his next fight. But, it seems like Efe Ajagba, just a level below those guys. So I think he needs this big win. And Bakoli, the way he dominated Anderson, he has all the momentum in the world right now. We've even heard the rumors of possibly an AJ fight. So I think it's a must win for him too, if he wants to get those big paydays. So yeah, that's a very, very good card.